1.0 of Palworld is dropping and you're probably going to want to get into it. So here's some tips to get you into the game easily, without having to overwhelm you with all this information. The first one is, when you're creating a world, don't be afraid to go in here and customize the difficulty. You can increase your experience rate, you can increase item drops, you can increase the amount of pals that you have at a base, decrease the amount of time that it takes for an egg to hatch, and it just all in all just decreases the amount of grind that you have to go into a game. Some people don't have a lot of time to invest and just AFK farm away at Palworld, so by messing with the Palworld settings, you can adjust the world to meet your playstyle, to meet the demands that you have as a player. If you didn't go into your world settings and edit your XP rate because you want to play like a more normalized game, then if you're having trouble leveling up, catch multiples of the same pal, at least 12 of the same pal. You'll gain bonus XP for catching up to 12 of the same pal. And the XP that you do earn grinds and grows with your level. So at earlier levels you may gain like 200 XP, but later levels you gain the tens of thousands of XP, which really help you level up. If you're having trouble finding a base, one of the best areas to put your first base is right over here. Now, if you start here at the starting area, you go down and you go up past the small settlement, you can actually go under the bridge to avoid Hawk here and climb up the cliff and set up your first base at this area with 8 iron nodes. This helps you get iron really early on in the game that can carry you into your level 20s. Now, speaking of level 20, before you even hit level 20, you actually get access to some items that break the game really early on. Because if we go over here to this Bushi's farm, right here we can find the pal known as Serpent. If we just go over to this area over here by the water, we can find several serpents, as we can see right over there. And they're a little bit high leveled, like they're in their 15s to their 20s, but that's quite alright, because at level 10 we unlock the item that I'm currently using to ride this serpent, called the Serpent Saddle. But we need to capture one of those serpents in order to unlock that Serpent Saddle. As you can see, it's right here at level 10. And at level 15, we unlock the wheat mill, the wheat plantation, and the beginner fishing set, as well as the PAL expedition station. I'll go over the PAL expedition station in a bit, but the beginning fishing set plus serpent allows you to do some crazy stuff, because what you can do is use the Serpent Saddle to surf the outsides of the islands and head right to the Fisherman's Point. From the Fisherman's Point, we can find some pretty useful mid-game NPCs. For instance, this guy right here, he sells us tomato seeds and lettuce seeds, which by the time we reach level 25 or 26, we can unlock salads, which are great for a hard work-based pal. And we can also find this pal vendor over here, who will sometimes sell us reptyros, which are level 3 minders, level 3 kindling. And with this being Fisherman's Point, we can make use of that fishing rod and fish up several pals as long as we have bait. And in order to make the simple bait, we need the wheat plantation, berries, and pal fluids. And then we basically get access to so many different fish. And there's different types of fishing. These are all basic fishings, which means we'll only get like basic items and we'll get the basic pal. Right over in this fishing spot, I found a couple of things. These purple ones with the pillars of light, they're alpha pals with rainbow traits, which means they have things like Lunker, Mastery of Fasting, and other things that you'll need to breed. And then these purple ones are just standard alpha pals. There's another variant that's green, which are basic pals with the rainbow traits. All of these pals you should definitely look out for when you're surfing on your surfing and trying to find good fishing spots. You also get several decent items when doing this. So let me just switch out my rod real quick and just do a little fishing mini game. Now this is a master fishing spot, so I need to be really good at this master fishing spot in order to get this. I have the just basic alpha pal right here biting on. I wanted to get the mastery of fishing. But the way you do the fishing is by keeping that little yellow fish bar within the green bar. Once you do that, you can fish something up. This is just an alpha pal, and we get several items. We got an intermediate fishing rod schematic, we got bones, we got corral of ore, pal fluid, and some other things. Right now, I'm trying to fish up this rainbow one. Actually, I'll go for this rainbow guy, since he's all the way over here by himself. Just to show you some of the things that these big dudes really have. And these big rainbow guys are actually a lot harder to catch than normal. I think he sees it. He sees it. He sees it. He's coming. Their bar drains extra fast, and they are more sporadic when they move all over the place. So it is a bit harder to play, which means if you're not good at the fishing minigame, it will be a little bit harder to capture these guys. And this one had Lunker, and it's an alpha pal, and it came with Ancient Sieve parts, a Pendant of Diligence +2, Precious Plume 3, and Pal Fluids. So we got some decent stuff off of that. Next, let's show you where the fishing part gets really broken. With surfing, you're able to head over here to the Faybreak Islands, which is a very much endgame island. And you're going to want to use surfing because any other pal that's flying will get instantly shot down by the towers on the Faybreak Island. In fact, the Faybreak Island, they introduced a bunch of different items, like these double dash air boots, jumping boots, and such, all in order to make you get them and avoid flying around the island. Now, the Faybreak Island also has a lot of fishing spots, and those fishing spots scale to the level of the island, which means you're able to find these fishing spots and fish up level 50 plus pals that can carry you through your whole entire mid-game. At least they can carry you through Axel. One such pal is the Finsider Ignis, which, even if you don't have it fully condensed and maxed out with souls, with decent traits, you still do so much damage with a team of 4 of them by just hot swapping them out. You can take down Orzurk at level 25 with just the team of Finsider Ignises. Never underestimate the furniture sets that you get as technology points in the game. Specifically, there's one furniture set, I forget whether it's the wooden living room furniture or the wooden tavern furniture set, but it comes with this simple furniture that is a bench. And with the bench, you're able to stack items like beds and farms in order to save space in your base. And you do need to build a wall in order to stack, because you need to line up the rest of your thing with the wall. Let me just show an example by using this wall right here. So I'm just going to make a quick little bench stack right here. The bench basically acts as a false foundation, and you do require some gaps in between some of these items. Like beds, you need at least 2 benches in between. You can't just make a bench, a bed, a bench, a bed, but you can snap these items into place and essentially just stack up these items saving you a lot of space in your base. Also, take advantage of breeding when you get a chance. You unlock breeding roughly around the 20s. So, when you get the breeding farm, you're going to want to invest in your berries, invest in Mazzarinas, chickpeas, and bee guards. All these things are used to make cakes, and you need cakes in order to breed. And another thing that you'll need when breeding is something called the Prowl Breeding Calculator. Let me pull that up for you. Over here on Palpedia.net, there is a PAL breeding calculator. So if you're looking for a specific PAL, like say Anubis for crafting and mining, you can search up Anubis, and it will give you all possible combinations for Anubis. And if you're trying to get PALs with a very specific trait, you're gonna have to basically reverse engineer breeding. So if I'm looking to get a Finsider Ignis with all my special traits, I'm gonna have to go back and see Finsider and Gobfin Ignis. Then I'm gonna have to go back and see what makes a Gobfin Ignis, and then reverse engineer that with my current PALs in order to get the exact PAL that I want with the exact traits for my Finsider Ignis. And then what we can also do is breed a whole lot of them, and then in order to make best use of them, we use this thing called the PAL condenser and make them super condensed. By taking all of our extras, we can make the strongest and best PAL ever. We can also do this with ranching PALs, and when we do this with ranching PALs, what this does is make them produce even more items. This is great when we're trying to produce a lot of cakes for our breeding farm. So if we get a level 4 condensed bee guard, 2 level 4 condensed Mazzarinas, a couple of level 4 condensed chickpeas, we are basically making tens of thousands of cakes at a time. It's absolutely crazy what you can do and what you can make with breeding. The strongest PALs, the most cracked PALs, and the highest item producers that there are in the game. Now, with condensation, you're also going to want to use it for that PAL expedition station. Remember I said I was getting to that PAL expedition station? You can get a lot of useful items out of the PAL expedition stations because of having the super condensed PALs. When your PALs are super condensed, you get a lot of rewards out of all your condensation. You get a whole lot of rewards out of condensing all your PALs. And having the condensed PALs with a high amount of PAL souls and a high level is the only way to increase your total firepower when going into these dungeons. And this is how you farm a lot of items that you need for your endgame. Breeding and fishing are going to carry you through most of your game. So do not sleep on those two things. Especially if you want to make your PALs and whatnot the most broken they can be. And I think that about wraps up everything. So, we went over basically where to start a base, where to get your experience, where to break the game, and what really makes the game the most broken. And have fun in 1.0. We'll see if anything changes from this guide going into 1.0, and maybe I'll make an updated guide. And see you in 1.0, guys. Bye!